What takes precedence? Is it pride or happiness?
Well, extremely happy, obviously, and then pride, and very proud of the players, the way they handle the environment, and you have to show today. We have to show a different kind of competitiveness and desire, and then the quality that we show to win the game.
Amazing game. I think who was watching enjoyed with the atmosphere. The atmosphere that it was on the stage was just beautiful.
Even when the atmosphere is against you like that, does it help fuel you before the start?
Oh, of course. It motivates you. It motivates you a lot. And if that scares you, I'm not sure if you are in the right place. Because as a kid, you dream to be in a stadium like this with this atmosphere to play a game of football. And that's the beauty of football. So that should motivate you a lot.
First thing we needed to do was control our emotions a little bit better than we did in that first half. You know, the penalty decision is a big one. I think it maybe rocked us more than it did them. We've performed so well through the majority of the season. The players have been incredible for us. The consistency's been there, the attitude and mentality's been there. Now we have to go another level, and that's always going to be hard, but that's the challenge we face in the Premier League.
Would you have fancied playing in that one?
To be fair, before the game, I felt that I would put my boots on today because the atmosphere was incredible, and that's what you want. You're playing for a championship. We guarantee second place. Let's go for it. Let's keep digging and digging and digging and see what is there.
It was great that this afternoon, was it? It had a little bit of everything, that game. It was end to end. It had a little bit of an edge to it as well, in a great atmosphere. It was really enjoyable.
Two really good teams. Yeah, we love the energy, the intensity, but the quality of both sides, they've improved so much. It was a real pleasure to watch. Newcastle were actually unlucky. The performance was decent, but Arsenal at times were back to their brilliant self that we've seen. And the main reason was their bravery to try and play through the lines when they knew Newcastle were going to come after them. When you go to Newcastle, you're going to get pressed. This is in the first minute of the game. They don't disappoint. Wilson sets it off. Isak goes, the midfielder behind. Look, they're working really hard to try and get on the ball and make things happen. They've not won in the last 3 away games. This was a really brave thing to do. Now, on occasion, Newcastle got after them and won it back. That's going to happen. The thing is, when this does happen, they get away with it here decent. This is the way Arsenal set up. They stretch the pitch out. They work on this all the time. You've got the two midfielders who like to come and receive the ball off the back players, keeping the length, making the pitch big, and then Odegaard has the intelligence, the awareness. We've seen so often this season. For me, he's been their best player. Patience. When's the ball going to come out to me? And when it does, I've got the touch and the game intelligence to keep the move going. And he's also the one who knows when to take the risk. Is somebody going to be brave enough to try and make that through ball, to try and score a goal, to try and get somebody in behind? Watch this bit of movement, stay with him. Look, again, intensity, get the ball, then there's the pass. Beautiful. And Martinelli, you expect him to score.
But hey, I mean, you talk about, obviously, personality with Arsenal. You know, when you go to Newcastle, you have to compete. But you see here, they're in a double pivot. You know, you see Odegaard, if you see his position here, really clever. What he's doing there, he's asking questions, you know. He's saying to Botman, are you going to come with me or are you going to vacate that space in behind for the other two to run in behind? You see Saka there highlighted also. The chance actually comes from here. Saka's a great ball here. And, you know, maybe, you know, Saka should have done better. You know, if he goes a little bit low, maybe he scores. You see again here, the goal actually comes from this. You know, you see Odegaard is in this position. Just clever, just, you know, not really running. And it's a great strike. You've seen him do that before, but it's a great strike into the bottom corner. But everything Arsenal done today, you know, came through him. You know, his personality, you know, his quality on the ball, and, you know, someone that just continues to impress me.
And actually, you can't really define his position, can you? I mean, I know he wears an 8, and you could say he's functioning as an 8, but as you highlight there, his intelligence means you can't necessarily pin him down.
Arsenal are really clever on their build-up because they commit bodies forward, and they know that, you know, on the back line, at times it's going to be 3v3. But he's really clever because, like you said, Martinelli and Saka were, you know, keep their positions. They'll stay wide. But Odegaard, he's really clever. He'll get into positions where he can't get marked. And by doing that, you know, he can get on the ball and create, you know, score goals and create chances for others around him.
Just on how they're playing, we're fickle in the media, aren't they? They play the same way and they lose at Manchester City. People are going, well, should they have done something different at Manchester City? But you like the fact that they go, right, we're Arsenal, this is how we play, you worry about us.
I think all the best teams over your decades in the Premier League have an identity of playing a certain way. The key is when you're under a bit of pressure or lacking a bit of confidence, sometimes within a game, mixing it up temporarily. You don't go away completely from your philosophy. You just know when to give it a rest. 10, 20 minutes in the game where you might be under the cosh. I think Arsenal deserve great admiration this season for sticking with what they believe. We saw that today. They're not going to change. And I think that's the way forward for them to keep being competitive and keep progressing.
Well, I suppose where they can tweak it as well, not in how they want to play, but just occasionally with personnel. So someone like Jorginho gives them something a little bit different to what Thomas Partey gives them.
I mean, he was fantastic today. You know, probably man of the match, to be honest. And I think that sort of performance goes under the radar. People don't really appreciate that sort of performance. I mean, in terms of touches, passes, and not just playing sideways and backwards, you know, being effective with your passes, you know, passing for a purpose. And, you know, I mean, when you look at the stats there, you know, energy levels, this distance covered. I thought that he was really, really good today. And he's a key player. And, you know, he's got his chance and he's definitely taken it.
Key position.
Yeah.
The bravery in that position is not always... You don't always get the ball. He did get it a lot today, but it's actually always asking for it to create the space behind you. And it's a lovely option he's got with him and Partey, because they do have different attributes. And we might even see them play together in certain games.
The post-match interviews were fascinating as well, because Arsenal relished that atmosphere, probably because they won and enjoyed it. Whereas Eddie Howe was saying, look, we carried a threat and they had chances, but we need to control our emotions in that atmosphere.
And sometimes it's not easy to control your emotions. I think for the home team, if anything, there's more pressure. As the away team, you go there, and I mean, as players, these are the stadiums you want to play in. You know, Jorginho, he said in his post-match interview about, you know, being a kid, and if you're scared to play in that sort of environment, then you're in the wrong game. It does lift you as a player, and like you said, these are the stadiums that you want to play in and show people how good you are.
They're starting to get a few options as well, aren't they? You know, Jacob Murphy's in at the moment instead of Almiron, and they had their midfield with Willock and Longstaff wasn't. They've got Alexander Isak was out wide, so they've started to get a little bit more, a few more options.
Let's be really clear about this. They have progressed tremendously and quicker than anyone thought they would, even the most avid Newcastle supporter. The squad is tremendous. It's getting better. They've got good competition. They've got good attacking options. They are a very good side, and they're only going to get better.
Right, now this may come as a shock. You're going to praise VAR.
I thought you were giving that to him.
Well, you can both.
No. Do you know what? It is worth saying that when a referee gives a decision, very rarely you think there's going to be a change. Because usually you think they don't want to make the referee look silly and stick with him, and it has to be a high bar. This was the right decision. He gave the penalty. They took it to VAR. VAR told him to go and look at it on the screen, sorry, I should say, correctly, because Kiwior doesn't handle it, hits his thigh, and the right outcome was given. You have to give credit, Jay.
No, but I have to say that's a fantastic set piece, by the way.
Yeah.
We was actually surprised that, you know, there was no Arsenal players on the edge of the box. Like, normally you'd have one of your players on the edge of the box, ball side of the corner that's been taken. So it's pretty obvious. Watching it, we knew, you know, that it was gonna come into that sort of area. And then, I have to be totally honest, when I saw it, I did think it was a penalty. But then we
to be fair, Chappers was the one who spotted it, hit his thigh.
Wow,
Chappers jumped up
before the VAR.
God. Are you worried about your place on this show next
You
season?
could get a job on VAR.
Could get a job on VAR. Oh, my God, could you imagine? It keeps the title race alive, doesn't it? I mean, it's an obvious thing to say, but it just keeps it alive.
You think so?
Well, it does, doesn't it? At one point.
That's all they need to do.
That's what Mikel Arteta says. They've just got to be in a position where if anything happens with Manchester City, they can take advantage.
All they can do is take care of what they do, and that's win football matches. And the performance today was something different from Arsenal, to be honest. They competed, and it's a difficult place to go. Not many teams have gone to Newcastle and won. The fact that they've done that, you know, it's a fantastic result. But that's all they can do is just keep winning.
Right.